There is a genuine, quiet magic to the first morning a chickadee discovers a feeder you built yourself, landing, glancing around, and then settling in to eat, as though it has trusted this exact spot for years, and that entire experience is available to you this weekend, using nothing more than a handful of leftover fence boards, deck planks, or pallet wood, already sitting in your garage. A DIY bird feeding station built from upcycled timber costs genuinely little beyond the hardware to assemble it, gives scrap wood a genuinely purposeful second life, and once you understand the handful of placement and maintenance details that actually matter for bird safety and health, it becomes one of the most reliably rewarding backyard projects available to a beginner, drawing genuine, wild visitors to your yard within days of finishing. Sourcing your timber safely deserves a moment of attention. Before you start cutting anything, particularly if you are working with reclaimed pallet wood, a genuinely popular and free source for this kind of project. Pallets are typically stamped with a small code indicating how they were treated, and looking specifically for the letters HT, indicating heat treatment, rather than MB, which indicates chemical fumigation with methyl bromide, ensures you are working with wood that has not been exposed to a pesticide genuinely unsuitable for anything birds or your own hands will regularly contact. Fence boards, deck planks, and other reclaimed dimensional lumber sidestep this concern more easily, though checking for any obvious chemical treatment, stamps, or an unusual greenish tint associated with old or copper raw-based preservatives remains a worthwhile habit regardless of your specific timber source. Building your basic feeding station requires only modest carpentry skill and a genuinely flexible approach to whatever scrap timber you have on hand. A simple platform design, a flat wooden tray with a shallow raised lip around the edge to keep seed from scattering in the wind, mounted atop a single sturdy post, roughly 5 to 6 feet tall, is genuinely the easiest style for a true beginner to build in an afternoon, requiring only basic measuring, cutting, and a handful of exterior rated screws. Drilling several small drainage holes through the platform's base is a genuinely essential detail many beginners skip, since a solid, non-draining tray collects rainwater that soaks and spoils seed within a single wet day, turning what should be a food source into a moldy mess that can genuinely sicken visiting birds. For a slightly more elaborate design, adding a simple peaked roof section above the platform, cut from 2 angled boards meeting at a ridge, keeps seed considerably drier through regular rain and snow, while adding genuine visual charm, reminiscent of a small birdhouse silhouette, sanding down any rough or splintered edges on your reclaimed timber, and confirming that whatever wood you are using has not been treated with older chemical preservatives. You would not want food adjacent matters just as much here as it would for any other reclaimed wood project involving something birds, and, eventually, your own hands, will be in regular contact with, expanding your basic platform into a genuinely multi-purpose feeding station structurally broadens which species actually visit, since different birds have distinct feeding preferences that a single flat tray alone cannot fully satisfy. Adding a simple horizontal crossbar or a couple of sturdy hooks beneath your platform's roof overhang lets you hang a suet cage, which attracts woodpeckers, nuthatches, and chickadees genuinely drawn to that high-fat food source, alongside a tube feeder filled with Niger seed specifically for finches, who tend to prefer this smaller, oil-rich seed over the mixed platform offering below. This modest addition, requiring only a few extra screws and a couple of inexpensive purchased feeder inserts, transforms a single platform into a genuinely layered feeding station capable of attracting a considerably wider range of backyard species than any single feeder style manages alone. A modest toolkit covers the entire build regardless of your specific design choice. A circular saw or handsaw for cutting your timber to size, a drill for pilot holes and drainage holes alike, a level for confirming your finished platform sits genuinely flat rather than tilting seed toward one edge, and exterior rated deck screws round out the essentials for a sturdy, weather-resistant structure. Placement is genuinely the single most consequential decision in this entire project, and it deserves real thought. Before you sink a single post into the ground, position your feeder somewhere between 10 and 12 feet from the nearest dense shrub or tree cover. Close enough that visiting birds have a quick, genuine escape route from aerial predators like hawks, but far enough that the same cover does not become a convenient ambush point for a neighborhood cat to launch a surprise attack from just a few feet away. A balance wildlife biologists specifically recommend based on documented predation patterns around backyard feeders. Window collision risk deserves equally serious consideration, since research from ornithological studies estimates that hundreds of millions to over a billion birds die annually across the United States. Strikes, feeders placed at an intermediate distance from windows, roughly 3 to 30 feet away, genuinely increase this risk by giving birds enough space to build dangerous flight speed before an unexpected collision. While feeders placed either very close to a window, within about 3 feet, or genuinely far from any glass entirely, meaningfully reduce this specific danger by either preventing birds from gaining dangerous speed or keeping the window out of their direct flight path altogether. Light and temperature considerations for your feeding station. Follow logic that genuinely parallels. Careful plant placement, just applied to seed preservation rather than photosynthesis. A spot with at least partial shade through the hottest part of the day helps prevent seed from becoming excessively hot and accelerating spoilage or rancidity, particularly for oil-rich seeds like black oil sunflower that genuinely degrade faster in prolonged direct heat than drier seed mixes do. Wind exposure matters just as much as direct sun, and positioning your station with some natural windbreak. A nearby fence line or the corner of your house considerably reduces how quickly rain-driven moisture reaches your seed supply, even with a well-designed roof overhead. In genuinely cold winter climates, a feeding station actually becomes more critical to birds during exactly the temperature extremes that make maintenance least convenient, and choosing a location you can genuinely reach comfortably through snow and ice, rather than a beautifully scenic, but practically inaccessible corner of your yard, keeps your feeding schedule consistent through the season when consistent supplemental feeding matters most to overwintering bird population. The research behind backyard bird feeding is genuinely extensive, spanning both ornithological science and human well-being studies in ways worth understanding together. Long-running citizen science, most notably Cornell Lab of Ornithology's Project Feeder Watch, have collected decades of data from backyard feeder observations across North America, contributing genuinely significant scientific understanding of bird population trends, range shifts, and seasonal movement patterns that professional researchers simply could not gather at this scale without exactly this kind of widespread backyard participation, meaning your own feeder and the observations you make at it can genuinely contribute to real ornithological knowledge if you choose to participate in one of these citizen science programs. Separate research on supplemental winter feeding has found measurable benefits to overwintering birds' survival rates in regions with genuinely harsh winter conditions, though researchers are careful to note that feeders work best as a supplement to, rather than a replacement for, natural habitat and native plantings that provide birds with their primary, most nutritionally complete food sources throughout the year. On the human side, a genuinely substantial and growing body of research on birdwatching and psychological well-being has found consistent associations between regular bird observation and measurably reduced stress, anxiety, and depressive symptoms, with several studies specifically measuring the effect of birdsong exposure and finding genuine, quantifiable mood improvements among participants. Exposed to natural bird sounds compared to urban noise or silence, research that has been influential enough to inform hospital and workplace design, increasingly incorporating birdsong recordings, specifically for their documented calming effect. The effect of maintaining a feeding station on your own daily routine connects directly to this same well-being research applied at a personal scale. Simply having a reliable, regularly visited feeder within view from a kitchen window or a favorite chair provides repeated, low-effort daily exposure to exactly the kind of natural observation. The research associates with stress reduction, without requiring a dedicated birdwatching outing, or specialized equipment, and many first-time feeder owners genuinely describe an unexpected sense of anticipation developing around simply checking who has visited each morning, a small, recurring point of connection with the natural world, built directly into an otherwise ordinary daily routine. Providing water alongside your seed offering is where this project's version of a watering routine for healthy roots genuinely applies. Since a clean, reliable water source is every bit as important to visiting birds as the food itself, and in many ways, considerably more consequential for their actual health, a simple shallow dish or purpose-built bird bath positioned near your feeding station gives birds a source for both drinking and bathing, a behavior genuinely essential for maintaining healthy feather condition regardless of season. The water quality deserves real, consistent attention rather than a set and forget approach, since standing water left unchanged for extended periods becomes both a genuine mosquito breeding concern and a source of bacterial buildup that can spread illness among the very birds you are trying to support, meaning dumping and refreshing your water source every 1 to 2 days, and giving the basin itself a more thorough scrubbing weekly with a stiff brush, are genuinely non-negotiable habits, rather than optional extras. In genuinely cold climates, a small water heater element specifically designed for bird baths keeps water from freezing solid through winter, providing access to liquid water precisely during the season when natural sources are often frozen over and most scarce. Feeding and maintaining your station translates into the equivalent of fertilizing and pruning for this particular project. Choosing a genuinely high-quality seed mix, black oil sunflower seed as a reliable, widely appealing base ingredient that appeals to the broadest range of common backyard species, rather than a cheap, filler-heavy mix loaded with milo or other seed most birds simply toss aside, searching for something better, meaningfully improves both the visiting bird diversity you attract and reduces the wasted, scattered seed that accumulates beneath a poorly chosen feed. Many experienced feeder owners also adjust their offerings seasonally, adding extra suet and high-fat seed blends specifically through the coldest winter months when birds genuinely need more concentrated energy. Then easing back toward lighter, more varied offerings once spring arrives and natural food sources become abundant again. The equivalent of pruning here applies directly to the vegetation surrounding your station, rather than the structure itself, and periodically trimming back any shrubs or branches that have grown to encroach on that carefully considered 10 to 12-foot buffer zone maintains the predator safety balance you established at installation, rather than letting it quietly erode as your landscaping matures over successive seasons. Even a well-maintained feeding station runs into predictable issues, and knowing how to read them takes most of the guesswork out of keeping your visitors genuinely healthy. Mold or a sour smell developing in your seed supply, particularly after wet weather, signals it is time to discard that batch entirely rather than simply topping it with fresh seed on top, since moldy seed poses genuine health risks to visiting birds and should never be allowed to accumulate at the bottom of a feeder. Disease transmission between birds congregating at a shared feeder is a genuine, documented concern, and following a consistent cleaning schedule, a thorough scrub with a mild bleach solution, followed by complete drying roughly every 2 weeks, under normal conditions, and considerably more frequently if you notice any sick-looking birds, or if your regional wildlife agency issues a specific disease advisory, is the single most impactful habit for protecting the birds you are hoping to support, rather than inadvertently harming them. Squirrels and other seed-raiding wildlife, while a genuinely common frustration rather than a health concern, are best managed with a simple baffle, a smooth metal or plastic dome, mounted on the post below the feeding platform that prevents these genuinely agile climbers from reaching your seed supply, without resorting to more aggressive deterrents. And if your feeder simply is not attracting the visitors you expected, despite otherwise careful setup, reviewing your specific placement against the cover window, and light guidance covered earlier usually reveals the actual gap, since even a genuinely well-built station positioned poorly relative to these factors will underperform, no matter how appealing the seed itself might be. Building a genuinely thriving bird feeding station really comes down to respecting a short list of specific details. Construct your platform with real drainage and weather protection in mind. Position it with real thought toward predator cover distance and window collision risk. Choose a genuinely appealing seed mix over the cheapest available option. Provide and consistently refresh a clean water source alongside your feed, and maintain a real cleaning schedule that protects visiting birds' health, rather than treating the station as a set it and forget it fixture. Handle those details with intention, and that stack of upcycled timber will become a genuinely reliable gathering point for wild visitors, rewarding you with a quiet, ever-changing show right outside your own window for years to come. If you love learning about seasonal flowering plants, vegetables, gardening tips, and nature care, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Nature Nurture Hub, your home for year-round garden inspiration. Let's keep growing together.